we're rolling. I just wanted to show you something quickly. You've got to add this to your recommended read. Robert Edwards' book about D.B. Cooper.
Sure, going to be doing some stuff with D.B. Cooper in the near future, so that's pretty good. It's called D.B. Cooper in Flight 305. Was that the title I just saw?
Yep, that's the one. Dr. Robert Edwards.
Okay. Yeah, I really have not done much with D.B. Cooper, but I would love to do more, and I'm going to be, it's in the cards for the upcoming weeks and months, so I'll keep that book in mind.
There's such an interest and a growing community of interested people in true crime. Why do you think it is that so many people are drawn towards true crime as, really a form of entertainment?
Well, I'm going to cite something that I heard from a presenter that not everybody would like too much, and his name is Thomas Henry Horton. He's the host of the Stones Unturned podcast. And when he was faced with this question, what he said was, there are three things that exist in the true crime world. It's 40% horror story, 40% pity party, and 20% fact. Horror story meaning like talking about death and so on, people being murdered, and pity party meaning talking about the stories of the victims. And I completely understood what he was saying, but I thought, why not put a more optimistic spin on that? Because what he said was very pessimistic. So, 40% of it, we could say like morbid curiosity, or how about a fascination with subjects that other people are afraid of, they're afraid to even explore. And then there's another 40% that's human empathy. You actually feel something for the victims, and you can actually understand grief, and you can understand, maybe not to the magnitude that they've experienced, but you do feel both empathy, sympathy, and a certain degree of care for the victims. And then, of course, 20% facts, just analyzing facts, unsolved mysteries. People want to be the one who has connected the dots in their mind, and they're the one who solved the case. So I guess we can say morbid curiosity, human empathy, and just the human quest to discover more facts.
Interesting. Now, coming back to your show, Black Box Online Radio, you've got over 1,000 uploads now, which is just staggering to think about. I'm just here in one of the browsers at the moment looking at some of the earlier episodes, and we've got the first one, War Crimes of Hillary Clinton. Coming up a little bit, Libertarian President in 2020, Megyn Kelly talk show disaster, Chinese socialist lies. Was it originally a platform where or a channel that you created to express your ideas and your thoughts rather than just going towards it with a true crime focus?
My original intention with starting Black Box Online Radio was to talk about the CIA and world events, as you brought up some examples. As far as political things, I want to be very clear. I have no strong political leanings. I don't like any politician, but whoever your favorite politician is, I won't like them. Because I heard this once from another YouTuber named John Lorden, that once somebody decides that they're going to be a politician, they are making the choice that they want to have more power for themselves. Their ambition in life is just to have more power. And there's a certain degree of trust that just breaks, where you just don't trust this person anymore. So that's why, yes, I talked about those particular things from particular angles. And you can criticize things from all different sides, because ideas aren't perfect. The ideas that we are discussing in the political world are not perfect. You brought up Chinese socialism. Okay, well, discuss them, criticize them where you believe that there genuinely is something that can be improved, or highlight an error that you think is going on. But the original intention was to talk about the CIA and conspiracy theories, and it wasn't exactly meant to just voice what I think. It was almost about playing a character. If you go back and listen to the very old episodes of Black Box Online Radio, you might even notice that my voice sounds robotic, and I'll be like, BBOR, June 13th, 2017, something like that. And I thought that I was being like mysterious or something, but in all reality, that was probably not the best idea.
Okay. Was it something that you were inspired by, were you inspired by other talk shows like Howard Stern and Joe Rogan Experience, sort of adopting a free-flowing style of conversation?
Well, absolutely, yes. All of the major talk radio players, Howard Stern, of course, and I course, got pulled into Joe Rogan as well because of his popularity. And someone once asked me, "Do you listen to Joe Rogan?" And I said, "Not exactly. It's just half the people that I follow on Twitter have been on Joe Rogan, and they post clips of their episodes, and I end up watching him." And all of these indirect ways, those were more in the days before he had the deal with Spotify. But yeah, I really was influenced by guys like that. And a lot of this started in 2011 when I was listening to a lot of talk radio from like Rush Limbaugh, Michael Savage, Mark Levin, and on the other side of the political aisle, Tom Hartman and Sam Cedar. As I said, I mean, you can't trust anyone who is truly a political player, but those people are commentators. So I'm listening to different perspectives. I'm listening to different ideas. And I thought, these guys are just talking about stuff. I could do that, right? Right? Wrong. So much harder than I thought it was. I made little 3-minute episodes for YouTube back in 2011, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't just talk in a free flowing way. So many times people have told me, "Hey, yeah, I was listening to Black Box Online Radio, Ned. You're just a natural at talking in this free flowing way." Absolutely not. It was practice over and over again. I had to write out these little 3-minute scripts that I would just read off, also in somewhat of a robotic voice. And that was for something I was working on at the time. I was a writer on an entertainment website that was called the UC, and we decided to launch a YouTube segment, which was mostly my brainchild. I mean, it was my idea, but we were a group of writers, and we launched that, and I called it UCOR, UC Online Radio, and that evolved into Black Box Online Radio, kind of paying homage to the original version. And I've never actually shared that before publicly, but that's why I chose the name Black Box Online Radio. I mean, because of course there was a black box on the screen, and it was meant to be done in the tradition of an old-time radio show. And I also wanted to give some credit to the idea that I had years ago.
I'm glad I finally got the answer on that, because I've been listening to so many of your older episodes and your daily journals trying to find that answer. So glad that it's finally come out.
I have never really shared that. It didn't really come up. But yeah, I had the original idea for Black Box Online Radio when I was just out like at a real estate agent's office, and I was looking at an apartment, and it's kind of like hit me like a bolt of lightning, and I'm like, wait a second. I'm not really good at like editing and video production. What if I just try to do this as an old-time radio show, just black out the screen and call it Black Box Online Radio? And I hurried home as fast as I could, and I made the first episode. And I mean, it's almost just about living in the moment, living in the now, going for it.
What's your current audience size?
Right now is about 2,600 subscribers, and I do a show every Monday called Zodiac Monday. That's kind of the nickname for it. The official name is the Zodiac Killer News Report, and that usually gets about 1,000 listeners. Not very big, right? But it's a very active following, and people leave comments all the time. They want to discuss true crime cases. They want to discuss the Zodiac Killer mystery, and I welcome that. And the numbers are steadily going up, but mostly it's just this is just life right now, so carrying on.
Are you on any of the other social media platforms?
Yes, I am. I'm on Instagram, BlackBoxNed88 over on Instagram. I also have a Facebook where I use my name, Ned Dehan. And I'm going to be releasing more short episodes, about 1 minute long, on both YouTube and Instagram. Actually, 3 of them. Also on the Facebook Reels page. So it's going to be cross-platforming. And I'm going to be sharing the Twitter for the show really soon. It's just going to be Black Box Online Radio, but it'll actually be my old personal Twitter, which was called Bronzy Ned.
Our guest today is Ned Dehan. He is the host of Black Box Online Radio, a true crime show that discusses everything regarding the Zodiac Killer. He's also covered John Benet Ramsey, D.B. Cooper, and also recently Missy Beavers. Was there anything that started making you take a shift away from some of those earlier episode ideas, talking about the conspiracy theories and war crimes of Hillary Clinton, towards a more structured approach that you've got now, which seems to be the Zodiac News Report, and then on Wednesday you have a series that you go through, and then the Anything Goes Friday?
Yes, and firstly, Stuart's completely correct. I do Zodiac Monday, and on Wednesdays I do a regular segment about Jack the Ripper, which is now called Ripper Wednesday, and Friday is the Anything Goes, where any subject is fair game. Back in 2017, I was making some of those old black box recordings, and nobody was listening. I mean, I would get one listener, and it was me. I was the only person for months, and I was like, "What's going on?" Because I said I had previously made small videos back in 2011 for the UC, and you would just put a video online and it would get 100 views overnight, no matter what it was, even if it was just me reading off some type of little prepared script talking about any subject under the sun or in the darkness. You get 100 views, sometimes 200 views overnight. YouTube has definitely evolved and gone into a different direction, and I was really kind of surprised about that, but I decided to just keep recording. And why did I choose to start talking more about true crime? Well, I was planning on doing a bigger true crime show, and it was actually going to be called Mysteries with Ned. I even made a little banner for it on Microsoft Paint. It actually looked really, really elementary. Like, I mean, we're talking maybe an 8 or 9 year old would have composed it. And I wanted to have this bigger show called Mysteries with Ned because I follow true crime cases. I regularly listen to those. I mean, every single day, back in 2015, 16, 17, I'm following these true crime stories. And I was very curious about them. And I had a lot of my own observations about unsolved mysteries. And I wanted to do something with that. But the months went by, and very simply, that the political content wasn't really catching fire. And I thought, I have this YouTube channel, and I'm already doing this type of daily recording schedule. I'm going to start talking about the true crime stories on Black Box Online Radio, and let's just see what happens. And that was in the early fall of 2017.
How do you engage with your audience? Obviously you've got, you said you've got over 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. Is there a particular way that people tend to interact with you the most, or you interact with them?
Well, the easiest way to get in touch with the show is through the comments section. And I engage with the audience by listening to them, listening to their feedback, getting their requests for future episodes, particularly the Zodiac Monday episode and the Anything Goes Friday segment, maybe even more with talking about the Zodiac killer because so many people have different theories. And there also are these possible crimes that could have been connected to the Zodiac killer. There is an entire world of true crime stories that is exclusively connected to the Zodiac killer, or it almost exists in its own type of small microcosm. And I've been going through that over the past several years. So listening to what the viewers say, doing the requested topics, as well as I talk to people all the time in Facebook groups. I'm in the Zodiac Killer Library, just another Zodiac Killer group, and I just joined one called the Zodiac Killer in Me, and I've been discussing this with people's theories. And also, sometimes I preview people's books. If they've written a self-published book about the Zodiac Killer and they want a variant of a peer reviewer, then I go through that with them and we talk about this. On Facebook, Instagram, we just start sharing contact information and we get in touch. Sometimes we have phone conversations, all of it.
Where do you get your ideas for the episodes that you do for Black Box Online Radio?
Well, I'm just a true crime follower like anybody else. I'm not an expert. I don't have a degree in criminology. I'm not a forensic scientist. I was just doing this on my own for years, talking to myself on residences, but I think this was just kind of thinking about it. And I knew that I wanted to put the stuff out on YouTube. I follow true crime cases regularly. I follow the content almost every single day. And over the past 2 years, it's been going up and down for a long time. I wasn't even watching YouTube videos. I was reading books. I was reading articles. And it shocked me that so much of my content just came from whatever true crime book I was reading. And also, as I said, interacting with the listeners. People will make requests for topics, and I will just go through the comment section on Zodiac Monday, and they want to hear about this, this, and this for the next episode. Or sometimes somebody will put a theory in the comment section, or an observation, or just an idea that I think makes some for a good discussion, and it gets incorporated into the Black Box Online Radio list of topics. So all of the above, I follow the stuff naturally, and it just goes on from there.
I suppose that ties in quite nicely to the next question, which is how do you prepare for an episode? What sort of preparation goes into making a typical episode?
Yes, when I work on the videos for Black Box Online Radio in their current format, it does take a long time, but I found it's one of the few times when I'm not watching the clock. Like an hour can go by, and I was just so focused on the work that I wasn't even really aware that it was that long. But in the past, I used to do one episode a day, 365 days a year, Thanksgiving, Christmas, 365 days a year. I would try my best to have one episode out every day. And it was all a mental planning process where all day long I would think about what I'm going to be doing. And I would usually do the recordings at about 6 p.m. And then it turned to 9 p.m. because my job changed in my daily life. So all day long, I'm just thinking about the episode that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to open it like this. I'm going to be talking about this subject. Then I'm going to go into this next subject. Mental planning when I should have been using my mental energy for work or for talking to other people. No, I'm just kind of organizing the episode of Black Box Online Radio. Now, in 2020, in the very late fall of 2020, I started doing the show 3 times a week. The YouTuber John Sonmez, who runs the channel Bulldog Mindset, said he used to do the show 7 days a week, and then like I did, and then he switched his lineup to 3 days a week because he wanted the audience to have something to look forward to. And it turned out to be somewhat beneficial, but that just turned everything upside down because I'm like, I got to start mentally planning an episode on Monday that's going to go out on Friday. How do I do that? I'm a day-by-day person because by the time Thursday night comes around, I'm already following another story. And as I said, I'm a daily follower of this stuff, and I want to talk about this subject now. And sometimes the topics would get replaced, but over time I got used to it. And it would really be something like the night or 2 nights before, I would just devote time to creating the episode. In 2022, I began devoting the entire weekend to creating the Zodiac Killer News Report. I would record the first half on Friday night, I would record the second half on Saturday night, and on Sundays I would edit it together and release it on Monday morning. And it's, well, sometimes I can still do that. One time last year, though, I was working late on Sunday night. I rolled out of bed at 5 a.m. and, I just did the Zodiac Killer News Report and just kind of half asleep. Okay, we're going to talk about the Zodiac Killer today. Trying to stay awake, and then edited it and put it online by 8 or 9 a.m., whenever it was. So sometimes there are unexpected things, and it definitely does take about 2 or 3 hours of work to create the Monday Zodiac Killer News Reports. With the Wednesday and Friday shows, those don't have an expected time limit. They can be a little bit shorter, but I always aim for at least 40 minutes on the Zodiac Mondays.
One of the things that I find quite good about your show is that you're very good at interacting and engaging with your audience in a way that I think a lot of other true crime podcasts that are a similar size or bigger can often miss. And do you feel like that is something that gives you an advantage within the sphere that you're operating in, which, in all honesty, is a very competitive space?
I definitely think it's something that sets Black Box Online Radio apart from some of the other channels because I really haven't found a true crime show that has this level of listener interaction with the host and with the creation of the episodes and the presentations and the topic choices and just getting their comments read off on the air for a true crime program that is done in the exact way that I do. So that is something that it really is quite different. And if people are curious about true crime cases, I invite them to come on over and listen to Black Box Online Radio. And because I do the Anything Goes Friday segment, I can talk about other things that are more historical and even sometimes like conspiracy theories that might get into the true crime world a little bit, but sometimes they're in completely different subjects. But I always wanted to keep that Anything Goes Friday segment for just that very reason. I follow this stuff. I think it's fascinating, and I want to discuss this because I reached a certain point in 2017 when I was exploring ideas, and I just couldn't stay silent about it. I was like, I need to get online and start running my mouth. And maybe that's not the best thing to do, but I did it anyway. And people are welcome to come over to my channel and run their mouth in the comments section if they would like. Get your fingers typing on the keyboard. It's all welcome. Mostly. maybe a few exceptions.
Yeah, and I heard you mention a couple of exceptions in one of your recent episodes as well, about, I think it was the Zodiac Monday.
Yeah,
Yeah, where you're talking
this
about how, like, some people are really testing their limits. But I find very often, on YouTube, I'll get complaints from somebody. There was somebody who said one time, "Hey, why did you delete my comment?" Like I was just asking a hard question. I said, "Well, I didn't delete your comment. I think it might have been one of the YouTube moderators or someone like that." So it's always really interesting to see, I guess, just how passionate people can get about having their voice heard. And that's something that's for people that haven't listened to Ned's show, is quite a unique thing. If you go over to his Buy Me a Coffee page, which allows you to make a sort of coffee, monetary sized donation to his channel, he'll actually give you a shout out on his Zodiac Monday report, which is something that I think again gives you a huge advantage over the other true crime shows that haven't yet done that. And it's really created a strong sense of trust as well. And probably the good thing about you too, Ned, is you're getting a lot of referrals from people, because the person who originally put you onto my radar was Drew Beeson, who is a terrific podcaster in his own right as well. And have you developed some great relationships and friendships with people that you hadn't expected over the time you've been doing Black Box Online Radio?
Well, I absolutely did not expect that I would be making any friends with this. When I was making the little episodes back in 2017 with just a black box on the screen, talking in my quote-unquote mysterious voice, I was like trying to be anonymous, and I thought that this is just going to be like some disconnected thing from the audience, where I'm just going to be telling you a very dark and mysterious story. Maybe you'll get curious, like in I didn't really expect that there would be this amount of interaction, but I have encountered and discussed the topics with so many people, published writers, people who are running their own shows like Drew Beeson, and he is the host of the Zodcast on YouTube. The name of his channel is Drew Beeson. He does several different topics. He also has a book out about D.B. Cooper called Paratrooper of Fortune. And yes, I've made friendships and I have lots of interactions. But something else that is really quite different with Black Box Online Radio is it almost serves as an intermediary in a lot of these true crime discussions. Because I'm being very honest with the Zodiac Killer, for example. I'm not endorsing any theory until I am like 99% certain that that's what I think happened. And that just turned into something that people were looking for. There was a very big demand for that type of content where someone is not just saying, I think I know who the Zodiac Killer was, and I'm going to tell you all the reasons why. Imagine just someone reading somebody else's book, and here's what I think. Listening to someone else's YouTube videos, here's what I think. And then pulling the comments from other people and sharing the ideas back and forth. And it's almost like an exchange of information, an exchange of communication, and going in different directions. And I've also corresponded a lot with Richard Grinnell, who runs the Zodiac Ciphers page, and I've had some good conversations with Mike Morford. I just appeared on his show recently, Citizen Detective. And yeah, I did not expect there would be this level of interaction among writers and website moderators and podcast hosts. I say bring it on. I think it's just making things better and better.
And I'll say a massive thanks to Ned for joining us today.
All right, Stuart, thank you so much for having me on the program. And yes, of course, Black Box Online Radio, and of course, buymeacoffee.com/blackboxned88. And that's the website that I've been using, as previously stated, for donations. But the reason why I'm sharing that with you now is I'm going to be launching the Black Box Online Radio membership very soon. They're just going to have lots of bonus features and bonus content, including a short booklet that I've written called True Crime Teaches Us to Conquer Toxic People, which will be available through the membership, and that'll be distributed that way. And that's all through buymeacoffee.com/blackboxned88. And Stuart, thank you for having me.